Okay, I'm here today with Siobhan Steiermann. She is the Vice President of Ticket Operations for the Las Vegas Ballpark. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. So the Las Vegas Ballpark, I think when people go to Vegas, a ballpark is probably not the first thing they think of, but I'm going to tell you, I looked at the pictures. That place is absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, we hold just under 10,000 people, and that's, seating and standing room only. We are home to the Las Vegas Aviators, which is the AAA affiliate for the Oakland A's. And then we host about 30 plus special events during the year as well. So we're a full venue, 365-day kind of deal. It's pretty awesome.
Awesome. Now, everything in Vegas seems to be so shiny. So how long have you guys been there for?
So we opened in 2019. Prior to that, we were at Cashman Field, which is where the Las Vegas Lights are now. So brand new venue. 2019 we opened, 2020 we were closed, and then we're right back at it in 2021 and 2022.
Wow, that's a rough time to start. But it sounds like you're coming out of it okay though. So if we talk about the ballpark, how are things going today? I mean, are you getting ready for the season? I know a lot of people hear about the lockout and what's going on with that, but how's that impacting you, and how do you all look right now?
So opening day is April 5th. Regardless of the lockout, we still play. We still have a season. I don't know a lot of the logistics of the MLB lockout, but I don't believe we'll have a 40-man roster, but we'll still play. We have 75 games, so April through September, and then we sprinkle in some special events during that time. Then November shows up and we have Enchant Christmas, which is really exciting because they come in and they take over the ballpark, make it very Winter Wonderland-esque. And then we're right back at it in 2023.
Awesome. Winter Wonderland in Vegas. I got to get out there and see that because, I'm here in Ohio and we think of Winter Wonderland as scooping our driveways. So I'm guessing that doesn't happen out there.
No, it came 2021 was their first year with us. I mean, it is gorgeous watching them kind of take over the field. We have a gigantic tree in the middle. There's an ice rink. There's like a little walking path. We have to find the 8 reindeer because they've gone missing. It's like a huge family friendly event. They had a dog night. So like my mom and I brought our dogs and, did that whole thing. It's pretty awesome.
Well, that's great. That's great. So, this is, you're at the Las Vegas Ballpark. How did you find yourself here? Take us through your career. Where did you get started? How did you end up here with the Aviators?
Okay, so, I didn't choose ticketing. The joke in ticketing is, we don't choose the ticketing life. The ticketing life chooses us. My original career goal was to be an athletic trainer. Obviously, that's not what happened. So I started with a touring company, Showtime Tours. They did tours of Grand Canyon, Red Rock Canyon, Ethel and Chocolate Factory, things like that. And then I moved over to Treasure Island, and I worked for the Mystere box office for quite a few years, and I got to know the Cirque company itself and their company manager and things like that. And then I found myself actually working for Cirque du Soleil for almost 9 years. So I opened numerous shows here in Las Vegas and seen a few of those shows close during the years. But during that time, I decided to, pick up some extra work. So I was hired on at the 51s as a box office associate. Just seasonal, part-time. I did that for I think about 4 years. That sounds about right. And then my boss at the time, he called me up and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to retire. Do you want my job?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll take your job." Not knowing they were serious about it. So I met with him and my now boss, Don Logan. We had lunch. And then by the time I got back to my office at Cirque, I had a job offer waiting for me.
Wow.
So I moved, transitioned over to the team for full time. So I was with we were the Las Vegas 51s. So I was at Cashman full time for 3 years. Yep. And then moved over to Las Vegas Ballpark. And now I'm with Aviators. It's all the same team, same full-time team.
Very cool.
New
Very
parent
cool.
club. Yeah.
Well, that's quite the story. You'd go to lunch and come back with a job. I mean, that's great.
Yeah, it's really big on, Vegas is it's who you know, and it really is. I had
Awesome.
recommendations, or I was recommended by a few people in the Las Vegas like industry, so it was really nice to see that support and then move me into this role.
Very cool. Very cool. So, Vegas as a whole, right? I mean, Vegas has always had its ups and downs and rode really high, took it really hard during the pandemic as far as travel goes. So, would you say that Vegas is coming back or is it slowly coming back? It's back. What does that look like out there right now?
Oh, it's definitely back. It is as if the pandemic never happened. I mean, we
Wow.
still, people are still wearing their masks, and a lot of, places are still trying to social distance. But concerts are back. We got the Golden Knights, the Raiders. They're 100% full capacity, sold out kind of. Cirque du Soleil is back with their shows. They just announced a new show. We're starting on time. We have people reaching out to host special events here, so it's back.
Awesome. Awesome. So when all of that business roars back and all that industry roars back, are you seeing people able to keep pace with like staffing or logistics or all the rest of that? Or is this all kind of new territory and everybody's trying to figure out as they go?
I know I'm not alone in this, especially in our industry, is we're having trouble finding staff. There's a lot of, it's competitive out there right now. They call it the great resignation, and it's true. There's a lot of competition. I have a team that I've had since we've opened, and they've been incredible, but trying to find part-time seasonal staff, it's shown itself to be difficult. And
That's
yeah, it's like part of the problem. It's not a problem. It's a common thing that we're all experiencing.
okay. Okay. One of the questions I had, and you may not know this, but in Vegas, did you have a number of people move away, or did the overall population stay relatively the same when business kind of took a dip in during the pandemic?
I think a lot more people moved to Vegas once that remote work realized like everyone can work from home. Like we've tested it; it's a thing. I don't know if Cox Communications can handle that, but people move to Vegas. Cost of living is much lower than it is in California. So people moved here, but they already have jobs. So
Very cool. All
yeah.
right. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, in your world, talk to me about your team. Like, how big is your team? You said you've had them there since you opened the ballpark. Talk to me a little bit about your team, what that looks like.
So I have 2 full-time staff, and then I share a staff member with our sales team. So my box office manager, Annette, she came from MGM Resorts. Her first day was our opening day in 2019. So it's
Wow.
like she started with us, and I kind of I'm like, here you go, this is your team, and I'm really sorry that I've done all this. I've done all the hiring within 24 hours, but welcome. Because we have similar backgrounds coming from the casino industry and the entertainment world, she just kind of takes over. And she's been amazing and just kind of the day-to-day stuff. And then with her, I have a supervisor, Michelle. She's been with the team almost 20 years, I want to say.
Wow.
So she knows the team. She knows like how we operate. So her knowledge has been very crucial because I moved over full time. I mean, I didn't know everything that went on in the background. Like I just sold tickets at the box office. Dollar beer night was my night. Give me your money. Here's your tickets. Go buy some beer.
Right.
She did a lot of the operational stuff. So she's continually shown me like new ways to do things or how they've done them and how we can improve. And then Jessica, who I share with the sales team, she started with me part-time. We actually worked together at Cashman as part-time employees. And she's worked at Hard Rock. She's at UNLV Tickets. So she has a ton of experience on different systems, and we've moved her on full-time. So she's kind of like our backup lead in the box office, but she's also kind of a point person for the sales team as well. So, I mean, just the 3 of them alone they're incredible. Without
Awesome.
them, I couldn't do a lot of the day-to-day stuff I do now.
So in a competitive labor market, how are you keeping them happy? Like how are you keeping them there? How are you keeping them engaged? I mean, especially 20 years for the supervisor. I mean, that's incredible. What kind of things you're all doing there?
I mean, we have friendships, like, outside of our office, we're friends. I don't wanna say the cliche, they're my family, but we've all been through quite a bit together, and I think that's just really strengthens our team. I check in with them all the time just to see how they're doing just outside of work. I always want to make sure they have the tools to succeed in the office. I always tell them, whatever you want, I'm going to approve it. Because I know you're not coming to me with nonsense. There's things you need, and I want to make sure you have the tools. And like, I let them manage our box office team. So I know I'm not micromanaging. I'm not worried about the things that they're doing because I know they're doing the best. So I think there's
Awesome.
a lot of like support there.
Awesome. Well,
And I
and,
would
and
tell them,
that's
like, if you want to grow outside this company, I'm going to support you. I think it's very important to be very supportive, but I also want them to grow within our organization, whatever that may be.
Well, and that's that empowerment and that support, that's huge. And I think that that's two of the big things that people are looking for right now is they're trying to figure out, where they want to actually invest their career, their time in their careers. As nobody wants to work for somebody who's going to micromanage them. And then, always want to be able to get that support, that growth, that next level engagement. It sounds like you're doing that with your team, and it sounds like they're sticking around for it, which is great.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
Awesome. Awesome. So, one of the things that you mentioned when we were talking before was just about growth, right? So, what kind of things, I imagine there's not a ton of tiers in the Las Vegas ballpark for people to be able to necessarily sprout huge like vertical careers. But what kind of things are you doing for growth, whether it's, with your team there or even outside of the ballpark?
So in minor league sports, we all wear different hats. And I think that's pretty unique for us because I mean, I might be in ticketing, but I also know a little bit of sales, a little bit of marketing until they start talking to me in marketing terms, and then I'm out because I don't understand it. I help special events. So I think because we're in minor league, we all learn different things from different departments. But I also encourage my team if they want to learn something that's outside of the traditional ticketing world, that they should definitely pursue it. For example, like, I'm going to school for culinary arts. That has nothing to do with ticketing, but I like to cook, I like to bake, and eventually, if the team, you just never know what's in the future, and it'd be nice to have like kind of a backup plan. And to me, that might be cooking or baking.
Wow. That's a pivot. That's a pivot from ticketing to culinary. That's awesome though.
Very different.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many people in our industry make this, maybe not the exact same move, but very similar moves where, you see a part of the industry you're kind of passionate about when you get involved in it, and you're like, well, maybe I'd like to learn how to do that. And that's great that you're taking the time to be able to grow and learn how to do something like that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when you talk about support and you talk about those kind of things, one of the things I've always found is that, especially with the minor league teams, they're very active in their communities, right? Because a lot of them are community-based organizations, and they find it necessary to be, symbiotic with the community. Is it the same way in Vegas? I mean, are you all out in the community? If so, what kind of things are you doing?
So I know as a team, we do a lot of things, especially with little leagues. We actually have a foundation to, I guess, also help with like little leagues and those low income areas. I think in 2019, oh, it seems so far away, we helped rebuild a field. It's very common, especially in the sports industry. Like, the Raiders do stuff, the Golden Knights are out there. Like, we're all trying to, make the community a better place. In my spare time, I volunteer with the Goody Two Shoes Foundation. They're really big empowering kids to make decisions. So basically, basically the Goody Two Shoes Foundation fits like shoes for like Title I schools. These kids, you just don't know. Sometimes they've never been able to pick a pair of shoes out on their own. And that's what they do. They show up, we help them pick shoes that fit them, and they go back to class. And that's just, they get to make that decision. So for me personally, I like to give back to the community. I think it's super important, especially post-pandemic, to do those things. You know, the world's changed, and it's time for us to just give back.
I could not agree more. And I think that, you know, when you look at, you know, kind of what people are looking for when it comes to employers and people they work for, you know, that level of caring is a huge portion of it, because at the end of the day, people want to be involved in more than just selling tickets, right? Or more than just, you know, whatever it is they do for an actual job. You know, they want to know that there is that room for growth. There is that community connection, that involvement, yeah, the potential to just feel good about what you do, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, do you encourage your team to go out in the community and do things like that as well?
We're going to get there. I mean, next week I got special events to kind of help come out and volunteer with me. Now that like the box office is open, like my team is kind of here, but I think we'll get there. You know, we're coming out of that pandemic where some of them are not ready to be out there with the general public quite yet. And I respect that, but we're going to get there. I want to make it a thing this year that we're all giving back.
Awesome. Awesome. That's and again, you know, that's a huge part of I think where everybody feels you know, is the next step in getting past this is everybody's comfort level, right? I got to imagine that everybody like wants to go to Vegas until they get there and they see all these people and they're like, wait a minute, let me see if I can find Vegas, but with a little bit more space, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we're located off the strip, so we have a lot of space.
Good. Good. Yeah, no, I think you know, I think we've had a failure to launch vacation or two so far since you know, the pandemic has winded down, where you're like, okay, we're gonna get in a plane. You're like, maybe we're not gonna get on a plane just yet, you know,
Yeah,
or you know, maybe we just won't bring the kids
absolutely.
this time, right?
Absolutely. And I have the same, like last year I traveled to Scotland, and just that week towards my flight, I was like, things are still in lockdown. Is this a good idea? I have to fill out this locator form. What if I come up positive? What if I come up positive and I can't come back in the States? There's still a lot of, you know, what ifs.
Right. Right. Well, hopefully we're starting to die down from that. And hopefully, you know, we can find some semblance of normal. You know, I think everybody's kind of itching for that right now.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I went to a concert in August, and it was just nice to go to a concert, and it was at Mandalay Bay Beach. So it was outdoors. It was just nice to see a concert at like 100% capacity. You miss those things.
Right. Right. Yeah. Oh, no, I can't, I don't even know what 100% capacity is anymore. You know, there's like capacity, then there's lockdown capacity and COVID capacity, and maybe
Mhm.
we're coming out of a capacity and there's Omicron capacity, and you just can't figure it out anymore. Right.
Oh yeah, that 2021 or 2020 and early 2021, it was like, what can we open at right now? 50 or less people. All right, what can we do? We can do ballpark tours. Oh, we can have it up to 250. Let's do a couple flicks on the field. And then, you know, 2021 came, they postponed our season to May, and I'm like, well, we can open at 50%. Let's just push it as close to 50% as we can, but still with the social distancing. Ooh, it was a lot.
Yeah.
So
No, no.
now I'm just like, open up all the seats. We're 100% capacity. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Right. Let's just do it. I love it. I love it. So, you know, obviously people are, you know, coming back to our industry. You know, the hospitality industry is welcoming almost everybody back right now. You know, so as you're welcoming people back, you know, particularly people who are looking to come back maybe in leadership roles or things like that, you know, what kind of advice are you giving leaders as they you know, as they come back, or as you're engaging with them?
You have to expect the unexpected. I mean, we've definitely learned that in the last 2 years, that anything can happen. And you kind of have to roll with the punches. I mean, digital is here, learning how to navigate a digital world is been challenging, but it falls under the unexpected. Like, you gotta be ready. Anything can happen, good
I,
or
I
bad.
I think that may be like the one point that we all like rally around for the last like 2 or 3 years, right? Anything can happen at this point in time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think you have to be able to pivot. And then we all think of Friends and that whole Ross and the couch up the stairs. Like, but it's true. We can plan, but those plans can change.
So when that kind of stuff happens, right? Like when you have to pivot and when you have to change, how do you stay cool when that kind of stuff happens? How do you not like freak out and pull your hair out and run around like crazy?
I like to go for long walks around the ballpark. I'll go see my team, and sometimes I'll be like, let's go across the street and get some lunch, or we have a candy store and I love sugar. So just things like that. I'll admit this. I actually have a therapist now to talk about those moments where I struggle with finding the right way to respond opposed to just
Yeah.
blowing up. So I think that is also super important if you can afford it, and it's having a therapist kind of in your back pocket has been very helpful, and I recommend it to everybody, just to have that neutral third party person just to like talk through things. So it's
Yeah.
good to have that.
I think a lot of people are right there with you, especially after the last couple of years we've had where anxiety or depression or any of those things are so prevalent right now. I got to imagine that you're definitely not alone in admitting that you've got somebody to talk to and somebody that's got your back.
Yeah, I think it's important, but also long walks. Just getting that fresh air is very helpful. Or I'll just put in my AirPods and listen to a true crime podcast. You just gotta find those little things that kind of like get your mind off of the current task or what just happened, just to kind of reset yourself.
Awesome. 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 Well, I tell you what, it's I couldn't agree more. I think that you all are doing things absolutely right out there. I mean, business is coming back. You're taking care of your team, you're valuing what you do there. What I love is that you're connecting with your community and you're making getting out in the community a priority, which is absolutely the right thing to do these days. Hopefully you get a chance to tell people that story and leverage that. And if anybody's looking for anywhere to go, this is, a community-based organization that will definitely help you, connect and find a why. And I think that's absolutely awesome. And then of course, roll with the punches, right? Being able to pivot and being able to take care of yourself and your team as well. I think that's all absolutely wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, I take
So
care of my team, and my team takes care of me, and then we take care of the entire organization. It's super important.
absolutely. That's like the battle cry of hospitality, I think, is right there. It's you take care of your team, they take care of the customer, the guest, and they take care of your bottom line, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So if people want to find out more about the Las Vegas Ballpark, the Aviators, where do they go? Where are they looking at?
So the big one is the lvballpark.com. That's where all of our special events live. For Aviators information, aviatorslv.com. If you want to purchase tickets, Ticketmaster, we are a Ticketmaster client. But yeah, all of our special events live on the lvballpark.com webpage. We have a lot of exciting events coming up. I think yesterday we just announced Nitro Circus for July 4th. So that will be going on sale in the coming week. And then a couple of my favorite events we host in the summer are also returning. We've hosted Battle for Vegas in 2019, 2021. That's a huge event for us. It's Riley Smith and teammates versus Marcus Allen. So we got VGK versus the Raiders. Big event, one of my favorites. So yeah, that's where you can find information on all those things.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I thank you very much. Obviously we're excited to hear about all the great stuff that's going on there at Las Vegas Ballpark and obviously with you and your team. I really appreciate you highlighting, the Goody Two Shoes Foundation. That was great. I think it sounds like an absolutely awesome organization. We'll make sure we include that in the show notes here. And other than that, thank you very much for being a guest. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for the invite. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And I look forward to hopefully connecting again in the future.
That sounds great.
All right. Siobhan, thank you very much and hope you have a great day.
Thank you. You too. You too.
All right. Bye.